The Prophet Muhammad told us that whoever builds a mosque for Allah, Allah will build for him a similar house in Jannah. And we know the great reward that will not only be gained, but rather will fill your grave after your death. Whenever someone prays there, whenever someone gives shahada in the masjid, whenever someone learns something in the masjid, yes, that will be something that you'll have on your scale. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? Many of you will know that I've been engaging one Elon Musk, who is an electric car salesman, on Twitter. And this individual has jumped on the Tommy Robinson bandwagon, actually now unconditionally supporting him and posting some of his tweets online. This individual, who has a very unusual and atypical family history, whose father was engaged in incestuous behavior with his stepdaughter, in fact. And his stepdaughter, people will not know this, Elon Musk, and this is on the record, the Business Insider has an entire article on this, actually raised his stepdaughter from the age of 4 years old. Now he's talking about grooming gangs, and now I just wonder whether Elon Musk himself has witnessed any grooming on the side of his father. Yes, on the side of his father, who's been potentially doing things. We need to ask those questions. We don't know what he's been doing. But what we do know is that he's engaged in incestuous action. So is this trauma speaking, Musk? Is this trauma speaking from you? Or is it something you witnessed? Or have you been groomed yourself? These are all questions, I think, which are legitimate psychological questions that people are going to be asking now, considering the overcompensatory behavior, the erratic meltdown type behavior that we are witnessing from you on Twitter, where you're telling this person F you, and you're telling this other person, you're deleting your tweets sporadically, and I catch you out, and I catch you out again with your statistical errors, sociologically inept man that you are, or academically, because you're a dropout, aren't you? From my understanding, you dropped out of university. That's understandable that you make mistakes like this, and I actually put that to you on a tweet, and then you deleted the initial response that you had to that right-wing newspaper. Yes, you deleted it because you realized that you were putting graphs up, or that they were putting graphs up without references. But anything to prove the point, anything to prove that it's Asians, yes, it's Muslims, it is Pakistanis who are to be scapegoated for all of the misery in the West and all of the failure of Western civilization, which led to, in your understanding, the estrangement between you and your son or daughter. I don't know what it is, or she or he or they, but no problem. That's another thing. Obviously, your father's dysfunctional, your son is dysfunctional, your daughter's dysfunctional, I don't know who else is dysfunctional. I don't know if you're married or divorced, a failure of a family man, you're a Twitter junkie in 24 hours, you tweet 27 times, you're sitting there next to Donald Trump, you're tweeting 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. You have 250 billion, yeah? And instead of going in the private jet and taking that Cybertruck milk carton body of yours and putting it under the sun to give yourself some texture, some color, yes, you're on Twitter all the time, putting your face to the screen. You're a junkie. Yes, junkie. That's why maybe you like Tommy Robinson, huh? Because he's a junkie as well. We know he's a cocaine junkie, and he's a Twitter junkie, and you're a junkie like him. You're a Twitter junkie. Akhi, I'm going to call you Akhi. You are a junkie. But putting that to the side, let's take a look at the claim itself now for a second. Let's take a look at the claim for a second. The claim is that Asians and or Muslims and or Pakistanis are overrepresented in grooming cases. So I took a look myself at some of the reports which are most comprehensive, which detail the scope, the scale, the ethnicity, the demography of those grooming cases. And I came across the Home Office report. I came across the CSA report. And there was one that was actually produced in 2024. The latest one, obviously, it was looking at 2022 to 2023. And lo and behold, page 38 of the report, what I look at is the disproportionality, yes, of white people in the committing and perpetrating of these crimes. Because there's 83% white people in the country at the time, and 88% of the crimes, almost 6,000, instances of this crime were committed by whites. When I look at Pakistani, because they do have a separate section for just Pakistanis, who represented at the time 2% of the UK population, they only represented 2%, which is actually not disproportionate if compared to, or in general, especially compared to the white ethnicity marker. When you look at Asian, it's even less than that, because and this is something which is unusual, because you guys haven't had you guys are so stereotypical and uninformed and uncultured that you don't understand that the word Asian in these reports, it includes Indians, it includes people who are not even Muslim. Yet somehow Asian has been equated with Muslim. Last time I checked, India was not Muslim majority country. Yes, there's a considerable Muslim population, but not everyone in India is a Muslim, let alone China. But maybe when you dropped out of the university or whatever other thing you dropped out of, when you were in apartheid South Africa or this or that, they didn't teach you geography, they didn't teach you sociology, they didn't teach you methodology, they didn't teach you about generalizability and how you cannot take a sample group and generalize it and this and that. So you're just throwing markers around just like the uneducated delinquent. Tommy Robinson, who is your academic backhand, that is a shame, isn't it? That is a shame that your teacher had to be a right-wing fanatic, a right-wing, uneducated person who hasn't even got, I don't even know, an A level to his name. It is a shame that you have tarnished your reputation and humiliated yourself in this way, Musk. Even more humiliated than when you backed out of that challenge in the fight with Zuckerberg. I don't even know why you challenged him in the first place, or why this took place in the first place. Why you want to fight a 30-year-old man? You think you're going to, with that milk carton body of yours, you think with that, with that Cybertruck body of yours, you're going to get into the ring and cause damage to Zuckerberg, who's at least engaging in some kind of competition? There's no way you're going to fight him or beat him. Let's be honest. You are deluded. You're a deluded man. And we saw that delusion when you came in the Trump rally and you're jumping around like a little prat that you are. Absolutely deluded individual, junkie. It shows you, subhanAllah, from the Islamic perspective, how money does not necessarily buy happiness. Look how triggered you are in the meltdown when someone was saying something, you swear at them. But because of the money that you have, you became delusional. As the Quran says, يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَهُ. He believes that his money makes him immortal. He believes that his money makes him immortal. You are deluded. You are deluded, but you are also foolish. Because by doing this, you've become the laughingstock of British politics now. People are looking at you in Britain and saying, this guy is talking about dissolution of parliament. Elon Musk is calling for the dissolution of parliament from the king. What the hell? Do you understand how the political system in this country works? You don't. Just like you don't understand how sociology works, how statistics work. And that's why you like to take credit for things that other people do. Because you didn't invent a thing, let's be honest. You assembled teams that invented things. You didn't invent a thing yourself. Because an inventor or someone with an above average IQ wouldn't fall into these mistakes and support these kinds of people. But of course, those people who wish that you'd throw a coin at them because they are lowly people from the right wing, they will support anything you have to say because you have money. And that is the currency of the day, unfortunately. But I say this. The evidence and the burden of proof is upon the one that's making the claim. And from what we have, there is no evidence that there is a disproportionate or remarkable statistical problem with Pakistani Muslims or anything else, even Asians actually, comparative to other ethnicities in this country relating to such issue as grooming gangs, unless you wanted to specify specific towns and cities, which themselves have a higher than usual from the national perspective population of, for example, Pakistanis, like Rochdale and Telford and Rotherham and these places. Rochdale has an 18.5% population of Asians, for example. So of course that the crimes are going to be higher. But once again, if you had specified that, okay, there's an issue in these towns and blah, 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 then maybe you would have had some kind of sociological case. But if you wanted to make a causative argument for the religion of Islam, it's not even a correlation argument. You can't even substantiate correlation, let alone causation. You wanted to make a causative argument for the religion of Islam, which by and large is a conservative religion, that somehow that's responsible for the grooming of these young ones. yeah, and in an outside of marriage context, then you're absolutely out of your mind. And for you to unconditionally support those who do so means you're ignorant of religion, you're ignorant of theology, you're ignorant of politics, you're ignorant of all these things. And I think you should take that Cybertruck buddy and go back to the library. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey you, are you wasting your time on social media again? Your brothers and sisters in Islam Net from Norway are establishing a masjid, a dawah center. Establishing a masjid to convey the message of Islam is one of the best deeds a Muslim can do. There's a huge need for it in Norway. You know this and I know this. So that makes the reward even greater. So give generously and Allah Azza wa Jal will give you even more.